We all have so much hidden treasures within us called potential, and tragically, many such treasures are hidden in the local cemetery here. Buried beneath the rubbles of those sacred grounds are songs that were never sung, books that were never written, paintings that never filled a canvas, ideas that never became a reality. At times, my heart grieves over the wasted, broken, disoriented lives I encounter. During their youth, they had dreams, they had plans, they had aspirations. But today, they are lost in a sense of purposelessness. The greatest tragedy in life is not death. The greatest tragedy is a life without a purpose. The concentration camp survivor Viktor Frankl once said, "Life is never made unbearable by circumstances, but only by a lack of meaning and purpose." Today, I will like to ask you one question. What is the purpose of your life? That one reason of your existence. You have got to have a purpose. You are born to do something important, born to do something the world needs. All great dreams are birthed from that purpose, and all significant achievements begin with a dream. Dreams are the starting points of all accomplishments. The future belongs to those who believe in the beauty of their dreams. Just as our eyes need light to see, our mind needs ideas and dreams to conceive. So dream big and dare to dream. Low aim is a crime. Do you know that? Nowadays, you can Google for anything. Anything on the world, you can just find out. But can you Google for what is there in your heart? The passion that lifts you upward. That dream, you have got to find that what you love. That one that really, really excites you. It has got to be compelling. Something that has got an energy to pull you upwards, towards it, and not something you have to push towards it. Keep looking for it. Keep looking for that one. Don't settle down. The first step in your life is identifying what you want to be, what you're going to create, and that should be big. Don't let anyone tell you that you're too young and you can't do it. You can change history. You can change the world in such a big way that can affect a million. No one is a born hero. Ask any record breaker, ask any trailblazer. They will tell you that there are moments they have worried about being rejected. There were moments they worried about failing, but still they persevered and finally succeeded because they followed their passion. They followed their dreams. So birthing your dream from your life purpose really, really becomes that important. Dr. Martin Luther King wanted an America where blacks and whites are equal. He dreamt of it. He believed it. In the summer of 1963, do you know, in the Mall of Washington, around 250,000 people showed up at the right time, standing in the sun, traveling so far. They didn't have any WhatsApp. They didn't have any invitations to send out. But how do you do that? He never went around and told that what has to be changed. He went around and said, I believe, I believe. And people who believed what he believed joined him. And that changed the history. The audiences were not only blacks, 25% were whites. By the way, he did not give I have a plan speech. He gave I have a dream speech. At the end of the speech, he said, I have a dream that my 3 little children will not be judged by the color of their skin, but by the content of their character. and his dream became a reality. Former president and my former boss, Dr. APJ Abdul Kalam, who said, dream, 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 convert your dream into thought, and then transform them into action. When somebody asked him how he became a rocket engineer, do you know what he said? He said, once his school teacher, when he was in Rameshwaram, took them out and showed them the bird formation and their flights. That evening, that scene, that vision entered his mind. And then he thought that his studies have something to do with only with flight. Throughout history, mankind has repeatedly demonstrated that focused mental effort can produce miracles. An idea, if it occupies your mind, it has the effect of transforming your thoughts into powerful magnets, attracting the forces, people, circumstances necessary to achieve the dream. I had a dream when I was young I had dreamt of God and science. Do you know, both are looking contradictory, but for me it was almost same. Space interested me because it was almost equivalent to infinity. I was awed when I saw my DNA, a single strand which contains 3.5 billion bits of data in it. And it was so sophisticated, so ordered. And when I saw my solar system is inside this Milky Way galaxy, and to travel from one end of the galaxy to the other end, it takes 100,000 light years, with light traveling at the speed of 186,000 miles per second. And this galaxy is inside a Virgo supercluster, and so many supercluster forms Leucovoa cluster, and that goes inside a big universe, a vast universe. I was wondering, who is that one who can hold this together? What is the intelligence behind it? Do you know the four fundamental forces? The force of gravity, the weak and strong nuclear force, the electromagnetic force. If it would have been small by a very little part, the universe would have crumbled. 1 picosecond after the universe started, if the rate of expansion would have been small, universe instead of expanding, it should have crumbled. Who is the intelligence behind it? Who is the God behind it? That was the thing which interested me. That was my dream. That I wanted to know that God. Dare to dream. Dreams can transform you. Dreams can change you completely. Once there was an ugly caterpillar with orange eyes. He did not spend his complete life groveling and squirming in the dirt. He crawled up the step of a bush one day, made his way to a branch, secreted a translucent fluid onto that branch, attached himself to that. He proceeded to build a house around himself. Suddenly everything became very, very still. Plenty of things were happening inside. Metamorphosis was happening. And one day he raised the sill of his window, and there were a lot of colors inside. He shook violently, and a beautiful butterfly with wings came out in all its glory, flying from flower to flower, catching its nectar. You can transform your dream into reality. If my first part of my talk is to find out what is that dream, the second part of my talk is to tell you how to transform that dream into a reality. There is no easy recipe for success. Pioneers struggle against all odds. Transforming dream into reality is not about fortune smiling upon you. It's about asking yourself, how hard are you willing to work for it? It's about holding tight to what you believe. All of you would have heard about the Wright brothers. They invented the flying machine. And have anyone heard of that man called Samuel Pierpont Langley? Do you know he was that person who was given $80,000 by the War Department of US. He had a seat in Harvard and he knew all the great minds of that time. He hired the best minds. But how come he never developed a flying machine? Because a few miles away, in Dayton, Ohio, where Orville and Wilbur Wright, who were never married, they had no money, but only a dream. They had a passion. They wanted to transform that dream into a reality. They paid for their income from their bicycle shop. Not a single person in their team were educated, but all were driven with one purpose, that one cause, that one belief, that they could figure out somehow this flying mission. It will change the course of the world. Samuel Pierpont Langley was different. He was after fame. He was after riches. He was not after the result. But one day, in December 17, 1903, finally the Wright brothers took flight, and no one was there even to witness it. When you have your purpose, your life purpose should birth a dream, and your dream should birth a vision, and that vision will be transformed into a reality by a goal. So the main thing first to transform a dream into a reality is to have a goal setting, right? Like these Wright brothers, they just come back every time to the supper, breaking the 5 of their components, but still they had. Every day they try again and again. They had the perseverance behind it. Have you heard of an eagle? Eagle always flies alone. It doesn't fly with small birds. And the next important thing in eagle is a focus. If it can focus its prey 5 kilometers away, and if it has seen a prey, any obstacle will not stop it till it grabs it. That is the focus. The Wright brothers had that focus. So let us now practically see how will you convert. Start by drawing a picture. You have to visualize it. A picture that shows where you are, your current state, where you want to be, your future state. Visualization creates what you want from life using the power of imagination. No one single thing has ever happened that has happened without imagination. Einstein said, imagination is more important than knowledge. Knowledge is limited. Imagination encircles the world. Logic can take you from point A to point B, but imagination will take you everywhere. Develop a vision. A dream is something. A vision does something. A dream is a place to be. A vision is a place to go. A vision is the function of the heart. Sight is the function of the eye. So biggest enemy of the vision is the sight. Stop living by your sight. Start living by your vision. A solitary fancy can transform a million reality. Walt Disney said, if you can dream it, you can do it. You have got to understand, if you see it in your mind, you can do it here. If you have got it here, it will happen. Mountain climbers don't start climbing from the bottom of the mountain. They look to where they have to climb. Same thing with your goal setting. You begin with the end in mind and then set an action plan. It's like a climbing a ladder. I can equate it to a ladder. The place where you have to position your ladder, that is your vision. And after positioning your ladder, you have to climb the steps. There are 3 steps, main steps. And the ladder has to lean upon something. That leaning on should be persistence. Nothing in the world can take the place of persistence. Talent will not. Genius will not. Education will not. The world is full of educated derelicts, unsuccessful men with talents. Persistence and determination will alone take you forward. That is the place where your ladder has to lean. There are no shortcomings. There are no shortcuts. So you have to climb. The first step, be objective, honest in appraising your strength and your weakness. Look for opportunities to exploit those strengths. Identify the skill and the knowledge and the influences you need to go from point A to point B. Second, commit yourself to discipline. Success is not a straight line. It's curved. But once you commit to discipline, you are sure you can succeed. The third, identify your obstacles and isolate them. There can be 2 obstacles in my knowledge. The first, the fear of failure. Your past failures can pull you down. So only Karl Barth said, none of us can go back and make a brand new beginning, but all of us can start now and make a brand new ending. Deny the right to be negative. In Africa, there is a kind of antelope called impala. And that antelope can jump a height of 10 feet and it can run a jump of around 30 feet horizontally. But hardly a 3-foot height wall can keep all the animals within a small place. Why? Because it's scared to jump forward if it cannot see where it is going to land. That is why failures many times limit people. But failure is the best teacher. It can push you harder to succeed. So go ahead, make mistakes, make all you can, because that's where you will find the success, the far end of the failure. The last obstacle I would say is dream stealers. While young, many children are being told to accept the identity what others will give them. They are constantly told by bullies that they are ugly, they are stupid, they are fools. People say the famous rhyme, sticks and stones may break my bones, but names will never harm. But really it's wrong. Words hurt a lot. These hurts and repressed emotions at times make people to lose their self-worth. So such things I would call it as dream stealers. Don't allow anybody to tread on your dreams. Most of you would have heard of Steve Jobs, who co-founded Apple. Do you know he was born out of wedlock? His birth parents gave him for adoption, and he has to quit college because his adopted parents did not have money. He was sleeping down in his friend's room while he was studying. Later, he got fired from the very company he started, but rather than letting himself be paralyzed, he went on to create the kind of life he wanted, eventually becoming the CEO of one of the most valued companies of the world. This happened because he believed. He believed in him. He allowed himself to dream big, to see beyond, to think outside the box, to go where no one has ever ventured before. You always have a choice in front of you. Live your life. Life is meant to be lived with passion, with love, with fire, with conviction, and with purpose. Finally, before concluding my talk, I would like to tell you that my last point. In life, there can be circumstances that is beyond your control. The world you're going into to start your life can be cold. It can be dark. At times, it can be scary too. Well, how will you handle that moment? How will you go ahead when all your dreams are shattered? While I was young, I had a little dream. I dreamt of being the Cinderella. The dream of being in the fairyland, always surrounded by fairies. But life had its twists and turns. Finally, I lost all my dream, my purpose, my self-worth in that course of life, and was even contemplating for suicide. I fell into a serious depression and could not complete my PhD even after 5 long years. I was bitter and angry on God. But the creator of the great universe came in search of me while I was on ventilator in a deathbed because of pneumonia in Malya Hospital in March 2004. He showed me the vision of my sins being washed by his precious blood. And I heard audibly his voice, I'm giving you new life. I am giving you new life. This I heard 3 times. When I came out, my life got totally transformed because I started reading the Bible starting to the end. I found that the Lord of Universe loved me with an everlasting love. I'm so precious to him. He has made me beautifully and wonderfully. I knew he made me for excellence. I pressed on towards that excellence. Within each of us, God has put a potential for greatness. We are wired for greatness. We are not biological accidents. When I got that mental transformation, everything changed. Nothing changes when our mind doesn't change. Most of my degrees I received came after that. I put a chair next to me. I made the God of the universe to be my guide. And he guided beautifully. Trust in God. Put your hand into the hands of God. And that will be your best guidance ever. Still, I have a dream. Now I have this dream that I should be an instrument in transforming young lives. And students, if at least one of you can catch my thoughts and act upon it, I know my dream is fulfilled. I strongly believe that everybody in this world have got talents and you can change history. Today I would like to challenge you, press on, soar like an eagle. Winners never quit. You have the ability to live your dreams. Don't let anyone steer you away from your dreams. Dreams do come true. Indeed, they come true. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am, for that meaningful message.